What's going on, guys? Last day of 2024, this year flew by. It's been a long year for me. I had several deaths towards the end of 2023 and through 2024. It's just been a tough year, so I know it's been a little slow on videos. I apologize, but like I said, it's just been a tough year. But even with the year I've had, there was some of my favorite firearms that I've ever owned, purchased in 2024. Not all these guns were made in 2024, but these are some that I purchased in 2024. And like I said, some of these, actually several of these are some of my favorite firearms in my collection. And I thought I would go through my top 5 that I purchased in 2024. Now, like I said, not all these were made in 2024, but I did purchase these in 2024. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 5 is the Wilson Combat SFX9. Now, this little gun is tiny. I mean, you can see how small it is. You put your hand on it, your pinky definitely hangs off the bottom. They do have extended 15-round magazines that allow you to get a full grip. But one of the things that makes this my favorite firearm, or one of my favorite firearms, is you can see right there, it has Buddy's name with the dates, and then my father's names with the dates on that side as well. My father passed away in December of last year, and sadly, his sister passed away just a few days ago this year, almost a year to the date, just like a week or so apart. I wanted to find something that I could commemorate him and Buddy with. Buddy was a huge part of my life, my best friend for 17 and a half years. I'll never get over losing either one of them, but Buddy's been hard. And this right here was something that I could get was kind of special to commemorate both of them, and this will stay in the collection forever. I'll pass this down to my daughter because it has sentimental value, and it does shoot very, very well. It is a good little gun. I've not had any malfunctions with it. It's a good size to carry. I've actually carried this some, but more so than anything was just a commemoration I did to losing Buddy and my father. All right, number 4. This could be a little controversial, number 4 and number 3. These could probably go in either order, but this is the order I'm going to put them in. Number 4 is the Canik TTI Combat. This gun is amazing. It really is. It's fairly smooth to be a striker fired gun. It does have a comp on the end of it. It works a little bit. I'm not going to say it's the best comp I've ever used in my life. The grip on the TTI, Canik should never put anything else other than this grip on any other gun they make. I have other Caniks, and this is definitely the best grip. It has the best texture. Trigger on this thing is amazing. It really is. Again, it's not as good as my rival, the reset. It's the reset and over travel that does not make this as good as my rival, but this shooting it, you do not notice that. I've shot both those guns back to back. Shooting it, you don't notice it. I only notice it when I'm dry firing it. But this is a heck of a gun. I think you get a ton for your money. I paid over $1,000 for this because I got it right when it came out. You're seeing these guns now for like $850, and for like I think Mr. Guns and Gear sends out that email, and I've seen for like $859. I think it's as low as I've seen them that he sent out. And for $859, you are getting a ton of gun for your money. Like I said, you got the comp, you've got the milling and the slide. You got extended base plates on your magazines. You get a mag wheel. You get a toolkit. The optic system is pretty amazing. You can about mount any optic you want to on it. This flat face trigger. I wish every gun I owned had this flat face trigger on it because it is so easy to pull that straight back. You're just getting so much for your money, and I highly, highly, highly recommend the Canik TTI if you're looking for a gun, like a full-size gun in this category. It's hard to beat for that price point. Next, and this is going to be the controversial thing, this may be, and actually I think on the video I titled it the best shooting polymer gun I've ever owned, and I still stand behind that. and that is the Springfield Echelon. Now I know they've came out with a ported version since. They've even came out with a compact version. And if they make a ported version of the compact version, I'm probably gonna buy that. But really and truly, I like the threaded barrel on this, and this is the one I decided to go with. It feels really good in the hand, and I left my optic on. It feels really good in the hand, and the stippling is amazing on this gun. The trigger, the slide, this slide is about as smooth as some 2011s. I mean, I don't know how Springfield gets their striker fired slide so smooth. Even the Hellcat was pretty smooth. The trigger is not as good as the Caniks. It's not. There's hardly any trigger on the market as good as the Caniks, but it's still pretty good. It's way better than a Glock, and I had so much confidence. I just can't explain what was going on whenever I shot this pistol, like for the first time even. I mean, it was crazy. Just the confidence that this thing inspired while shooting it was incredible. I mean, if you've never shot an Echelon and you get a chance to shoot an Echelon, do it. I'm not the biggest fan of Springfield Armory. Their politics back in the day kind of turned me away from them. My cousin talked me into buying this. Several other reviews was pretty great about this gun as well. When they came out with a threaded version with kind of suppressor height night sights, or at least co-witness night sights, I was like, okay, I'm gonna purchase that because it really wasn't that much more expensive. And I was pleasantly surprised. And you know, they don't have the reputation of Glock yet. They've been through a lot of torture testing on YouTube. I've seen a lot of channels torture testing this, and they made it through it just fine. I would defend my life with this. I would trust it from what I've seen and from what I put through it. I'll probably put 600 or 800 rounds through this gun now. So from what I've seen, I would. But the confidence that it inspires is what would make me want to do it. I mean, from the way I was shooting this, I'm pretty confident I could hit man-sized silhouette steel targets at 100 yards fairly easy with this. 44 yards was very, very simple on a 6-inch shooting C. I ripped it off the target in the video. I think 100 yards would be nothing with that. And there's a lot of guns that I picked up that I don't have the confidence at 100 yards to hit a man-sized silhouette. That would be the first thing I'd probably pick up. I might pick that up over some of my Staccatos and Wilson Combats. I'm that confident with it. All right, this is a gun I've not reviewed yet, but it is number 2. This is my Geissele, a URGI upper at least, with my Night Force ATACR and Aimpoint Acro P2 on the top. I do have a Surefire Turbo dual fuel light, and then an FN lower. And the reason the FN lower is on it is mainly because it was kind of like a clone build, and this was like one of the special ops guns, and I wanted to build it somewhat as far as the bones of the gun, kind of like what they used. I even have the same Geissele trigger in mine. I used an all Geissele parts kit in it, so everything on this gun functionality wise is Geissele or FN. The buffer tube and everything's even Geissele. I just really like this rifle. Now it is heavy. This ATACR optic actually makes this gun pretty hefty. I'm not gonna lie, my shoulder's jacked up right now. I have a hard time holding this up. I think I need some scar tissue surgically removed from my shoulder. So this probably wouldn't be the first thing I picked up just because of the weight of it, but this thing is a beast. And when I get back to where I can actually shoot rifles a little bit better again, I'm going to review this, but that's really what has stopped me. I have put probably, I don't know, 75 or 100 rounds through it, just kind of getting the optics sighted in on paper and stuff like that, except for the acro. I actually forgot to take my tool for the acro, and the one for the T2 don't fit it. Good job, Aimpoint. Way to make 2 different tools to adjust your optic. But anyway, I couldn't adjust the aim points. So other than that, this has been a great rifle. They talk about how bad the recoil is on this. I didn't notice that. I didn't think it was any worse than any other recoil I'd seen. They were talking about how the gas tube was a little bit bigger hole for the gas to make it operate more reliably. But to tell you the truth about it, I didn't notice the difference. I did shoot it suppressed, but I never did notice the difference. And maybe it's just the weight of mine with that ATACR on it. But great rifle. If I was going to pick up one rifle to defend my life with, this is it. 14.5-inch pinned and welded. I just really like it, and I think it'll do anything I needed it to do. Started saying the U.S. military relied on it. SOCOM's probably, just military, sometimes they don't buy the best stuff. CP320. All right, before we get into number one, I have a couple of guns I want to show you first. I have a kind of like a bonus gun I'm going to throw in, honorable mention, you might say. And then I have the most disappointing gun I bought in 2024. Let's do it first. The most disappointing thing I bought in 2024 was the SIG 365 AXG Legion. And this light. Just this setup, just other than the optic, is disappointing. I had such high hopes for this gun. It felt so good in the hand. It was so pointable. Everything was great on this. I liked the color. As soon as I got it, I had to send a slide back. I didn't know if it was cracked or if the paint was just cracked. It wound up being the paint. They sent me a new slide, but it looked like the actual slide was cracked straight out of the box. So the slide had to go back to SIG, and but they did replace it very quickly. Got it back to me and got me back going. It wasn't as accurate as I wanted it to be. I was kind of all over the target with it. Now, there could have been a few reasons for this. It seems like that day I was shooting like some of my staccatos and stuff like that, and then I switched over to this striker fired gun, which actually does not have a bad trigger. It has a long reset. Has a very long reset. I thought the reset on a gun this expensive should be shorter. Let me show you that. Man, these things are tight. All right, watch how long this reset is. Going right there. For a gun that's this expensive, your reset should be shorter than that. It should have the SRT reset on it. Apparently it doesn't. But it feels very good in the hand, especially with this mag well. Mag well works well. This light sucks. Every time I pick it up, I ND it. I don't know why, but every single time I pick this thing up, it seems like I ND this light. It's the SIG Foxtrot 2R. It's a great light, a lot of output, more than other lights of its size. I just don't like, I've changed all the paddles. I've done everything I can. This is the best setup I can find, and I still ND it a lot. I have to consciously be aware that this light is on here, or I will turn it on, and my friends do the same thing. I just don't like this light, but the holster I have for this gun requires this light, so the light's staying on it. But I was kind of all over the target. Maybe I was shooting the staccatos and stuff like that, and this trigger was so much different. Maybe that's what my problem was. I need to take it out and shoot it again. I was just disappointed in it, and I just never took it back out. Still like the way it feels, I like the way it looks, but my number one kind of blew this out of the water and really just kind of made this pistol lackluster. But this is the most disappointing pistol I bought in 2024. Now, honorable mention. I carry this about as much as I do anything. When I bought this gun, it was stupid expensive for what it is. If you want a gun like this and you want to carry it a lot, I do recommend it, but for almost $500, the switch gun might be a little much. Now, how does this work? You got a little lever right here on the side. I don't know if you can see that right there. You pull that down, it comes flying out like a switchblade knife, and then it's single action after that, kind of like a little North American Arms. I actually sold my North American Arms to actually purchase this because North American Arms is probably a better option just because it's so much cheaper. But then you push up on the back right here, it folds back down and locks in place. And then it don't even really look like a firearm in your pocket. But I've carried the crap out. You can see the wear on the gun. It's carried all the time. In actuality, I just throw my keys in my pocket with this. So my keys are beating on the side of it. It just does what I need to do. The 22 Magnum isn't the best round in the world for self-defense, but it'll get the job done up close and personal. So I carry this a lot, especially when I'm wearing like sweats like I am today, and I can't carry my number one favorite gun in 2024, probably my favorite gun EDC ever. But that's what I was carrying today, in sweatpants. I do that in like basketball shorts or something. I'm just running out to the store real quick, pick something up. That's going in my pocket. All right, number one, and you probably guessed it, the Staccato CS. I should have never waited as long to buy one of these. On paper, this gun looked basically the same size as the C2. And I own a C2, and I was like, why would I buy this if it's basically the same size? Because in my opinion, the C2 is a little bit big to carry. This is not. I'm going to put this in the same category as like the SIG X Macro. When the SIG X Macro came out, I looked at that and I was like, I'm not buying that. That gun is too big. It's directed towards concealed carry. I just don't see me purchasing that. Just a couple of days after they released, I was in Charlotte at a big gun store down there, and they had one, and I held it, and I was like, I'm going to buy one of these now. And I carried that gun for a long time until I seen this. And I went back to the same gun store, and they had this. And I picked it up, and I was like, oh my goodness. That thing is amazing. The stippling is perfect. The grip feels perfect. The way this little ledge right here is on the bottom, your hand just locks in, you get a full grip. Now mine came with 16 round magazines. Staccato said those weren't as reliable as 15 rounders, and they actually sent me new springs and everything to replace all my springs in my magazines to 15 round springs. Now all mine are 15 plus one. I am going to change the RMR. I bought this to put on here, and I don't know why. I don't like RMRs. I don't like I have to take them off to change the battery. This is 2024. You should never have to take your optic off to change the battery. That's stupid in my opinion. Don't buy an RMR. I have several. I bought a couple this year. I consider myself stupid for doing so because they're great optics. They're very durable. But there again, in 2024, you should never have to take an optic off. I did have the RMR HD on this. It is now on my Staccato P. I just didn't like the way it overhung the barrel. I never had a problem with it. I shot it with it, never had a problem on the P. But they do state that if it overhangs over the barrel right here, that a round can get stuck. And I had a buddy that had an FN, FNX Tactical, MD Polo, another YouTuber on here. He was having a problem with his malfunctioning, and shells were getting hung up or casings were getting hung up underneath that optic. And I could see that happening, so I went ahead and put an RMR on it. But I honestly think here pretty soon, it's probably going to get an Aimpoint Acro P2 because I just think that is a far superior sight to the RMR. It looks a little bigger. I don't think it is. I think it's just the back side here is filled in. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I like that it's enclosed. I've always been a huge Aimpoint fan. I have more Aimpoints on rifles and stuff than I do anything. So huge Aimpoint fan. I trust them with my life. So this will be getting a P2 Acro very shortly. But this gun right here, whether you get the flat face trigger or the curved trigger, it is amazing. The trigger, oh, watch this reset right there. I mean, that is what that gun needed. That. And now I do realize there is a huge difference in this $2,300 or $400 small 2011 versus, $1,200 or $1,300, whatever that was. I mean, there's like $1,000 difference. But they already have an SRT trigger. Why not put it in it? I don't understand that. But this thing, if you can afford this, buy one of these, set it up, something like this. This is a TLR7 X sub. If you can afford this, this setup, yeah, you'll never want to carry anything again, because this right here, when I'm wearing anything other than sweatpants or like some kind of like basketball short, goes with me everywhere. Everywhere. Best gun I think I've ever bought. As far as concealed carry, I will probably never carry anything, religiously again unless I'm testing something. But for my primary, this right here, all day long. Like I said, if it's in the budget, go pick one up. You won't be sorry. Not only best gun in 2024, because I carry it so much and I shoot it, maybe best gun ever, at least for me. You should try it if it's in the budget. I understand that that's a pretty expensive little piece of plastic and metal, but if you can swing it, go shoot it. If you can't swing it, don't shoot it, because you're gonna figure out how to. Anyway, guys, that is my top 5 favorite firearms I bought in 2024, along with one honorable mention and one dud in my opinion. Your opinion may vary, but I just wasn't impressed. I'll give it another chance. I just haven't done it yet. But anyway, let me know what your top 5 favorite pistols are of 2024. And y'all have a very happy new year. Stay safe out there. I love you guys. We'll see you next time.